Hey Gearheads, and welcome to Garage Talk, a discussion about all things automotive. I'm Cory.
And I'm Matt. And each week this podcast will serve as a catalyst for discussion on all sorts of topics that grind our gears, rev our engines, or just need a bit more conversation.
And on this week's episode, we have perhaps the most special guest
we
have ever had on our podcast to date. My wife, Holly. Holly, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing good, especially after that introduction. Thank you guys for having me.
We have coerced Holly to join us this evening to give you, our listeners and our viewers, a different view of the auto industry, as well as maybe tell a story or two on yours truly. She also co-hosts her own show, ETX Life Podcast, a podcast for women in business in East Texas. You can listen to her show at etxpodcast.com or subscribe on all your favorite podcasting platforms. Well, Holly, thanks again for joining us this evening. We've got several questions for you, but the first that we ask all of our guests as they come on our show is tell us a little more about your personal car history. Any notable good or bad vehicles in your history that just stand out above all the rest?
He doesn't get to answer. So.
Yeah, he doesn't. I get to tell my story my way instead of having him tell all of my car stories.
Yes. She finally gets vindication. I've told a lot of stories on her, so now the mic is yours, babe.
Yeah, I also just want to give a disclaimer out there. I'm a gearhead by proxy. So I'm going to go ahead and ask forgiveness from all of the gearheads listening for if I say anything wrong or call a car a wrong thing or a part a wrong thing. Yeah. I am learning to be a gearhead.
One of the side effects of being married to me.
Yeah, one of the side effects. So my first car at 16 was a Mazda that was about 8 years old at the time. It was a hand-me-down. My mom got the new car on my 16th birthday.
Nice.
And, yeah, she got an Eclipse.
Very nice.
And we got a Mazda. This Mazda was probably the car that you'd want your 16-year-old to have, something that keeps them humble when they go to high school. So we grew up in a very small town, and I have a twin sister, so I'll just say right now, all of my stories are we, because we're always together. It was our car, and we drove to school together and came home, and we live in a small town, so when school lets out, the one traffic light in town
small town
is very backed up with all of your friends. And the Mazda would break down if you stopped too long at a stoplight.
Oh, no.
So we would be in this line waiting for the light to turn red, patting it and begging it, please don't die, please don't die, where all of our friends will see us. It did a time or two, and, of course, people were honking at us and yelling at us, and everybody knew us, so it wasn't like
those Conley girls.
I know, just giving us a hard time. At some point, the radio broke, and so we had a boombox in the back seat.
Nice.
For a while, and that was fun.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
We've got some good stories in the Mazda. It was a fun. Maybe not at the time, but looking back, it was a lot of fun.
Made for good stories.
Made for good stories, for sure. And then about our senior year, we got a Tiburon, and we went and picked it out, and it was a lot of fun, something to be proud of.
Oh, yeah.
My dad went with us. He bought it for us, but we all went to the car dealership and picked it out together, and that was a lot of fun. And I had that car for all through college and up into the first couple of years that I was out working on my own, and it went to Florida when I moved to Florida with me, and back it was a little 2-door. I guess are all Tiburons 2 doors? Yep. Okay, well that one was 2.
No exception for yours?
No exception for mine. It was also 2-door. And then it started pittering out, and I made my first big girl purchase, a Mini Cooper. Went shopping by myself. well, not by myself, but not with my parents, which is a big deal as an adult. It was, signed away onto all of my names and life. And
Oh, yeah.
at that point, it was the biggest purchase I'd made. I hadn't bought a home or anything like that. So there's always that feeling after you buy something that big, like, what have I done?
Well, I remember the first new car I bought. They still used the old roller style printers with the dot matrix printers that you had to tear off the sides of the paper for all the triplicate copies and all that stuff. I also bought my first new vehicle in a very small town, so technology was not up to date. And yes, it's very intimidating.
It is very intimidating, very intimidating. And then I like to say that my husband made me sell my dream car, the Mini Coupe, and get a family car.
Oh.
For those of you watching on YouTube, you can see the look of disapproval on my face for that bus that just got thrown under.
When are we making those shirts? It's Cory's fault.
It's Cory's fault, yeah.
They're available on our store right now.
Well, I should have wore that one. What was I thinking?
GTGarageTalk.com.
So now we have the Jeep Cherokee.
Jeep Cherokee Trailhawk.
Cherokee Trailhawk.
Easy for you to say.
And I love it. I do love it.
Yes.
But you, with the Mini Cooper, especially when I had it, I was like the only one in town that had a Mini Cooper, and it was that teal color,
kind of an aqua tealish blue.
Yeah,
it was a pretty color. I did like the color.
It is pretty.
With the white roof.
I
like the white roof.
That's what I like about Mini Coopers is there's so many different factory options.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to pay extra for a fun color. So
And
I like that.
we love color here on Garage Talk.
Definitely.
It was an adjustment going to the Jeep,
Right.
where there is one every corner.
Yeah.
Same one.
There are
different.
at least 2 others that are the exact same color in town. I can still pick Holli's out because I know there are different options on theirs versus ours. But to the untrained eye, it could very well be mistook for Holly driving around town. In fact, the last time you and I were out driving in it, one of them drove by us, and I was like, "There's your twin, not your real life twin, but your twin car." And she reminded me that is not the only one. But the daycare we actually took our son to, one of the other moms drove one, same color and everything, and it was really weird to pull up on days that I picked up Tucker from daycare, and I'm like, wait, what? No, okay, that one's a 4-cylinder. That's not Holly. We're good.
Well, I guess it's better to both show up to pick up your kid than nobody to show up to pick up your
Fair
kid.
enough. Yeah.
So, but I will say, the Jeep we bought used, and it was, other than the Mazda, my first used car. I kind of didn't want to inherit other people's problems with the used car before, kind of had a distrust of used cars, but it's really changed my mind on used cars for sure.
Awesome.
It's done a number on both of us because I have said many times on this podcast how it has immensely changed my view. If I can ever find a deal as good as I got on that one, because I still to this day cannot find that good of a deal. We stole that, and we've loved it ever since.
Well, you didn't actually steal
it. We paid. We paid for it. Still paying for it.
Still paying for it.
Almost. Lord willing, by the end of the year, it will be fully ours.
Woohoo.
So, gotta love that.
Mm-hmm.
But, all right. So now for a really fun question. So she did say she grew up in a small town, so hopefully she's not calling anyone out here that knows exactly all the details. But
Lord.
Have guys ever tried to impress you with their cars or with their driving or just showing out? Because we're a stupid lot, especially
guys don't do those types of things. Come on, Cory.
I think you are more guilty than I in this regard.
Probably. Yeah.
I can't believe this is even a question because we grew up in the Fast and Furious
era.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Boys were always trying to show off in high school, show their cars off and how fast they can drive and whatever.
Yeah.
But, well, I guess a couple of thing. Well, I had a really good guy friend, growing up, and he had a Jeep Wrangler. That was fun. He always had the fun cars.
Oh, yeah.
He was a little spoiled.
Can't go wrong with the Jeep. Team Jeep.
At least I wear my shirt.
And but he also had a Corvette.
Okay.
And he taught me I can no longer do this. I've slept a many a day since then. But when I was in high school, I could tell you what year a Corvette was made just by looking at the tailpipes. Because of him. Yeah, see? Can't do that anymore.
Oh, well.
You know. I've put other things up in the
Right.
You mean that wasn't
brain.
very useful knowledge for you to maintain the rest of your life?
No. It was not.
Yeah.
Just wait until Tucker gets older. It'll all come back.
And then I guess another story, which you like Camaros.
Love them. Dream car.
Yeah.
Have one.
Maybe
One
a little
another.
obsessed. Maybe. Passionate.
Passionate. Yes.
Okay.
Passionate. I like that. Much better.
So I dated a guy in high school who invited me over to his house for a date. I'm using the quotes for everyone who's listening and not watching. Because the date consisted of me sitting outside watching him wash his Camaro Z28. Matt, you look like you're like, what's wrong with that?
No, there's definitely something wrong with that. I mean,
Okay, there's ego, and then there's that. And come on, dude, you're
Like
making
if-
us Camaro guys look bad.
To be fair, he was a high school kid. They're not known for making the best decisions.
yeah, the whole frontal lobe hasn't completely developed yet.
Not all there yet. But I, to this day, cannot stand Camaros E28s.
Yes,
That's
especially. And it's
And
the
he's
generation
like- he
I
likes-
fell in love with.
Right.
And so 02 is when they killed him off the first time. I qualify that the first time because there's rumor floating around it may happen again. But
23.
2002 was the last of the original run of Camaros. And I have found very recently in the East Texas, North Texas area, some anniversary editions from that year. It was 35th anniversary edition Camaros, and said, "Hey, babe, what if?" And
Nope.
immediate hard
Nope.
pass, hard no, because
even
Not
if it was
happening.
like a
Nope.
different color or
Nope. I mean, I would even have a hard time accepting it free. Like,
wow.
I mean, I would take it to sell it.
oh,
yeah.
Yeah, I don't
So,
want to ride in it.
For those of you that have been keeping up with the podcast and my personal car history, I did have a 45th anniversary, brand new 2012 Camaro SS in my history before I met Holly, and loved it. And it looks very different than the one that she has bad memories of. But I would say just because it was that F-body generation from 93 to 02 that really cemented my love for Camaros and cars in general,
Right.
that I would almost, if given the option, take one of those. I would buy one of those before I would buy one of the newer ones, just because there's something special in my heart and my brain about that body style, everything about it.
Right.
And, LS. It's got an LS1 under the hood. So, I mean, come on. I mean, so did mine. But
You're not convincing me on the LS.
your Silverado had an LS in it also. So
I've had a few,
throwing that out there,
But I'm just saying, Hoovie of Hoovie's Garage, he went and got an old Camaro of that generation and bought it real cheap. His thing is he always buys the cheapest of whatever that he can find on the internet. And I'm like, man, and that's what I did. I started looking for cheap Camaros of that generation because
they're out there.
I could have some fun. But then I got to thinking about our wonderful steep driveway, and there's my cruise plays chin music going up and coming down the driveway. The Camaro would just look like Rocky Balboa got punched in the face. It wouldn't work. It wouldn't work at all.
You could lift it.
Yeah.
Oh, put some mud and tires on it. Go real redneck.
Maybe you
East
could put
Texas.
some 31s under the back of it. Give you a little.
Oh, no. That would be an interesting thing for the channel, for sure. But.
Definitely would do that. Yeah, yeah.
So yes,
absolutely no. What would that be? Fourth generation, third generation,
fourth generation
Z28s. Period.
Not happening.
Not happening.
Not happening.
SS? Technically, the SS was a Z28.
Not happening.
So,
Nope.
Hard no.
Nope. Not happening.
I will say I still made the better choice in the situation. I would much rather have you than
A car? That's
hunk of
good
junk.
to know.
Yes.
Oh,
That's good to know.
man, I need a button for the
The
audience. Yeah.
buttons. Yeah. You mean you don't have one?
I don't have one for that.
Oh.
That's- yeah.
Yeah. We'll just do it ourselves. Oh,
Oh,
I love you, babe. I will get one day. When we have a massive collection, right?
When we have
When it's
so
one of
much
many?
money that it's just like pocket change.
Okay. Well,
Well, I'll think about
I
it.
could
Right.
probably find one
When
for
it's-
pocket change right now. I'm not gonna lie.
maybe like the fifth or sixth car that stays in the shed way out in
Where
the
I don't have to
back,
look
where
at
you don't
it or
have to
ride
see
in it.
Right. See?
Or any
yeah.
of that.
Or know it exists in
Or
you.
know
be-
it exists.
it'll
If I
be
can
the-
forget about it.
The not so special occasion car.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I'll live.
It's not a no.
Silver linings, right, Matt? Silver linings.
So you're saying there's a chance.
Oh, yes. Okay, so that's really your only good story on guys being idiots around you? You've been blessed on that one.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm thinking, like, at the very least, I'm going to invite her, if she wants to help me wash the car and then take her to a nice dinner.
I
not
mean-
right?
just sit and watch.
Not just, yeah.
I mean, he might have asked me to help him wash his car, but also that's not what I wanted to do either.
Well,
That
sure.
was not-
Yeah, I mean-
I feel like if that's going to be the activity for the day,
Right.
that should be known up front.
Oh, so
yeah.
you didn't even know that up
No.
front?
Oh,
So you
wow.
were going over there expecting
I
to...
was going over there to hang out.
Yeah.
Right.
That
And that,
and
no.
I didn't know I was going over there for hard labor
Well,
on your stupid car.
to his credit, and this is...
You're giving him credit?
This is like a penny's worth of credit.
Tread lightly. Tread lightly.
This is a penny's worth of credit.
Oh.
He probably saw it as a... Yeah, thanks, Matt. Thanks, Matt. Like I said, it's a penny's worth of credit, but the relationship between man and vehicle is a special one, and he wanted to share that with you. So it was an honor for you.
Stop. You just need to stop right now.
This one's for you, Holly.
Stop.
Here you go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Matt's playing with her new toy
Oh,
over there.
Oh, my.
Oh, yes. So
That's terrible.
I think it's funny that you brought up Fast and Furious because as a young male who drove as those movies were coming out, it was a very dangerous thing to drive yourself to the theater to watch those movies
Oh, yeah.
because the adrenaline, the mental headspace that you were in leaving there necessitated you
I mean,
to
that
do
wasn't
stupid
Right.
things.
that wasn't just young males.
No.
Okay, I drove the Tiburon to watch
Nice.
one of them, and my
Yeah.
best friend and I, we were cruising afterwards a little bit too fast.
I went and saw Ford versus Ferrari
Mm-hmm.
by myself in the theater and drove myself there in
Yeah,
my
it's
truck.
probably a bad idea, too.
Well, I mean,
Well, at least you went in a truck that couldn't do a whole lot. It's not like
you
you went
didn't have to go that far. I, like,
kick a man while he's down. But,
golly, I was gonna go all deep and
Okay, well,
emotional and
forgive me.
no,
Go
we'll
ahead, go ahead.
The moment's over now.
whoops. My bad. Let me apologize to all our listeners. Yeah. So, sorry, Matt. A few weeks ago, episode 28, for those of you keeping track at home, we had none other than Bogey Latiner from All Girls Garage on our show, and we interviewed her about being one of the, what did she say, 2%?
2.5% now, yeah.
Of females in the auto tech industry. and she shared some of her experiences about coming up through technical school, about even how she got there in the first place was buying a vehicle and having to learn how to fix it because, as Matt mentioned just earlier in our conversation outside the podcast tonight, he would have another old Beetle if they were more reliable.
Right.
Right. And she found that out the hard way, being her first car. And so we talked a little bit to Bogey and getting her insight on a male-centric, male-dominated industry. Do you have any interesting stories, anecdotes? And I know you do. It's a leading question. I've been there for some that you would like to share and maybe have conversation around, I guess would be the right, in your past.
Yeah, first of all, I would just say that I was so excited that Bogey came on y'all's show, because even when you guys were talking about starting Garage Talk, the first thing I said was, we've got to look at the female perspective, because there's not enough people talking about it.
Right.
And it's so interesting, and I just thought it was interesting listening to her story, even just as a businesswoman, not even just as a car person. But I thought it was interesting to hear how she started off just wanting to fix the car herself to now she's a TV star. Like, how does that happen? Right. And what it really boiled down to was how she was called to serve the community and bring the female perspective into a male dominant industry.
Yeah.
And I have had some bad experiences, and that was one reason why I don't know the terms for the lingo for cars, and I don't know how to do a lot of things. I do know how to change my tire and check my oil and basic things on my car. So I can't speak to the female perspective like she can, but something that has bothered me is a few experiences being a female, buying a car, getting my car fixed on, that it's not right and it needs to change. And she talked about that. It's the industry's come a long way, but there's still a ways to go.
Oh yeah.
My biggest story is when I bought the Mini Cooper, my first car, female. I went with my best friend in Houston, and she and I were looking at two different Mini Cooper dealerships. And I also had a friend who was a car salesman, but he didn't sell minis and I wanted a mini. So I had him in my ear too on the phone when I'm talking to these salespeople, and he's like, don't take the sticker price. And
Absolutely not.
Yeah, and that's what you guys say too. Well, this guy was selling it. Like, he cannot go below the sticker price, and if there's anybody who says they can, they're lying and da-da-da. And so I called my friend back, and I'm like, they said they can only take the sticker price. The sticker price is the lowest. He's like, it's not. Do not take the sticker price. And so I left, going back and forth between these two dealerships in Houston, just discouraged, and I didn't know what to do, and they weren't coming off at all. They were not giving me anything. I was back at my friend's house staying with her husband, and he was listening to our conversation, and I said, Jose, just come with me tomorrow. And he was like, it's not because you're women. They are not, that probably is their best price. They're not telling you that just because you're women. And I'm like, okay, because he likes a challenge.
Right.
He likes to be right. He's a lawyer. He likes to be right.
Yep.
So I said, okay, Jose, prove me wrong. Just come with me. You don't have to do anything. Just come with me and talk to the seller. I was like, you don't even have to say anything. Just come when we go talk to the salesman and see if they change their mind. Guess who changed their mind? Jose sat in the room with us in the corner and didn't say a word. And all of a sudden the salesman can meet the price that I wanted.
Wow.
And
Wow.
Magically. So I was right. If Jose's listening, I was right.
I'm sure he will be. I will make sure of it.
But stuff like that shouldn't happen.
No,
it
oh,
shouldn't
yeah, no.
happen. And I think a podcast like this with you guys giving tips and stuff like that, if I was going out looking for cars or something like that, I would love to have had someone like you guys to listen to for those tips. When y'all talked about car buying and stuff like that. Listen to those tips and gone in there and better equipped.
Yes.
I
yes.
guess.
I'm trying to find the episode in which we reference all that stuff. Episode
It was
number.
like 2 or 3, right?
It was really early on. Episode number 7. So, yes. If you're interested in Matt and I's car buying tips and tricks, episode number 7. Granted, we did record that pre-pandemic. The world has changed ever so slightly since then. There's
Yeah,
a lot more online purchasing happening, going on, a little less haggling. And the rise of Tesla doesn't haggle, or you get the price that's on the website.
Right.
So, but
I haven't personally been to the online like Carvana or any of those.
I've played with them.
You have?
Yeah.
So you may be able to determine if there is an option to haggle, like you put in an offer price or anything like that, or is it pretty well straightforward? This is the price. This is what you pay.
I know I can't speak to the Carvana because I haven't gone really in detail with them, but I know General Motors, all their brands, so Cadillac, GMC, Chevy, and Buick, they have an option where you can kind of go in there and say, build your offer, so to speak. You can tell them, basically, I'm trading this in, I'm trading that in, I'm going to put this much down. But yeah, still face-to-face, I'd say there is a little more wiggle room. And obviously, across most of the country, restrictions have lifted up, and if you can go in person, you're probably still going to get your best deal going that way.
In person, typically the dealers feel like they have the most leverage when you're standing in the showroom discussing a deal of a vehicle. So
because they don't want you walking out of there.
Right, exactly. They don't want you leaving with the rig you pull on the yard with. They want you leaving in the rig that they're trying to sell you. So.
And to be fair, we're recording this episode on September 1st. Yesterday, the last day of the month, August 31st, I was making the rounds to a few dealerships, just talking to them about vehicles and our upcoming car show and things of that nature.
Wait, we have a car show coming up?
We do have a car show coming up. Garage Talk's Unlikely Heroes car show. How interesting that we were able to work that into conversation. It is a car show featuring the most unlikely of heroes, if you hadn't figured it out.
Do tell.
Yes. So there are plenty of car shows out there that celebrate the prettiest, the shiniest, the fastest, the biggest wheels and tires and the highest lifts and all that stuff. But there aren't many car shows out there celebrating the cars doing all the dirty work, the daily drivers, the high milers, the ones being held together by duct tape, zip ties, and baling wire and chewing gum. So we seek to rectify that with our Garage Talks Unlikely Heroes car show. And you can find out more about that at gtgaragetalk.com/car show. Made it real simple on that one. And you can find out all about the sponsoring businesses helping us out with us, including we have finalized details on food. We're going to have some World Championship barbecue.
We sure
are. From Polka Eye Barbecue, and we're looking forward to that. But anyway, as I was saying, I don't even... How did I get there?
Sorry.
What? It's a blur.
No.
So, yes, I was going around to dealerships just yesterday, last day of the month, and... wouldn't you know it, it's kind of a crazy, hectic, busy day there on the last day of the month because they're all trying to hit sales quotas.
Oh, yeah.
So another tip, go on the last day of the month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're willing to make deals.
They're willing to make a deal.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, even now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I will say on the flip side, speaking of car buying, on the flip side, I did feel empowered when we bought the Jeep.
Yep.
Because Cory went to the dealership. Cory met with the sales guy, and he and the sales guy showed up at my work. No pressure with this Jeep.
Right.
I knew Cory.
Sort
was
of
looking.
unannounced.
Yeah, unannounced.
You had given me the blessing.
I'd given him the blessing. I knew he was looking, but I also knew what we were looking for.
Right.
And I go out there. I'll open the back door because one of the things was if I'm selling the Mini Cooper, I'm getting a back seat, a huge back seat. And I opened the back door, and I'm like, that back seat's not big enough. And I closed the door. And Cory and I talk about it a little bit. He's like, you want to drive it? I'm like, no, why? The back seat's not big enough. And so we did end up driving around the block, and I'm like, why are we even looking at it? Because the back seat's not big enough. So they drive off, and the sales guy's just like, okay, bye. And he's like, wait, what? And he's like, well, the wife doesn't want it, right? So we're done here.
Yep. True story.
He talked me into it.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. I have a Jeep Cherokee.
Yeah. Wait, Cory talked you into it? Or
Cory talked
Cory
me
talked you
into
into
it. Yeah.
We also weren't like, we had two perfectly fine vehicles at the time.
Right.
Tucker wasn't in the picture. We had plans, but Tucker wasn't in the picture. So we weren't in need. And so that also gave us a leg up because we could very easily walk off the lot and be fine.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We got a great deal.
We really did.
Good.
We really did. And in fact, there was, I don't want to really call it a bidding war, but they very much wanted the Mini Cooper.
Yeah.
But so did our wonderful and awesome niece, Carly. She really wanted it, and we wanted to keep it in the family. We still see it from time to time.
We do. I get to say hello to it every once in a while. I will say I've given the Jeep a lot of crap, but from coming from a Mini Cooper to the Jeep, I feel like I am driving in luxury.
Nice.
Like my back feels better.
Oh, yeah.
It's so smooth. There's no road noise.
And when I first met her, she was living on brick streets in downtown Tyler in a Mini Cooper. And the suspension on that thing is terrible.
I have scenes of the Italian Job running
Yeah.
around my,
Yes.
going down the stairs. And
Yes.
So
Yeah, I did that.
that
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But look, having a Mini Cooper driving in Austin, I did a U-turn on one of those little streets one time. You can do that in any other size car.
you definitely couldn't do that in your Jeep. It does
No.
not have a great turning radius, for sure. For being as
Team Bronco.
okay, if she had a Wrangler, Wranglers have amazing turning radiuses. But
You didn't ask me if I wanted a Wrangler. You brought a cheap Cherokee to my work.
well, not long after
Team Bronco.
we bought the Cherokee, the same dealership had a matching paint color Wrangler that was already lifted, and I was shot down. So I did bring a Wrangler to your attention. We could have been in matching Jeeps. It would have been so cute, right?
Yeah, it would have been cute.
Yeah, obviously I didn't win that one. I'm still driving the Cruise. Plus,
There's a lot of car conversation. I'm sure it's the same in your house, Matt. There's a lot of car conversations that Cory loses. So just be happy with the Jeep, okay?
Oh, yeah. No, Cory loses all the car conversations in my house. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Cory does.
yeah. So that really leads us into the last bit of questioning we have for you is, what is it like? And I should really let Matt ask this one.
Uh-oh.
What's it like living with me? Having all these car conversations, having your husband beg you for a car that you despise because it's his dream car, or
You've got every other day. You've got a dream car for every day.
I really do. It's an affliction. Yeah.
Well, so I will say it was an adjustment dating a gearhead at the beginning. So at least I have to say, so one thing that was an adjustment is you're having a conversation in the car, and you get a shh, shh, so he can roll the window down and listen to a car outside. I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah.
No, he's got to listen to a car, or you're looking at each other lovingly over the dinner table that you are sitting by a window, and he like darts his head away to look at a car passing outside. I mean, I always say at least it's not girls, I guess.
True. Yeah.
That's taking his attention away, but it's still like, hello.
How many shades of red have I turned? Yes.
I haven't. I mean. Yeah.
You can relate?
Same thing. Same thing.
Yeah.
Same thing. Yeah, and then there's always when you're driving down the road and he's like, look at that Denali. And I'm like, what? Where? Like there's trucks, there's SUVs. Give me a color, a direction. Like, what are you looking at? Like
I'm just proud she knew Denali.
I'm like, if it's a Ferrari, that's that doesn't need directions. I know where a Ferrari is.
Yeah.
Or a Corvette, maybe. But,
Well, they're one and the same anymore. So.
Yeah. That's not a bad thing.
Is that not a bad thing?
Unless you're a Ferrari fan. Well, then you're like these
GM
stupid Americans.
ripping off the whole, mid-engine. Anyway.
Ripping it.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But that's just the random outburst. To look at a car or hear a car.
And it's worse when there's another guy, gearhead especially, in the vehicle.
Oh, then
right?
I just zone out and let you talk about it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I'm sure, and we do hope to have my wife on at some point in the future. She will echo everything you just said.
I know. I need somebody here that I can lean on.
Exactly the same thing.
Feel my woes.
Oh, yeah. No, she gets on me all the time because I'm paying attention to whatever rig was over there instead of what's going on in front of me. Yeah. My fault.
Yeah, or just and I know Emily probably feels this pain too of always wanting a different car or a different part for your car or I'm happy he doesn't fix cars like you do, Matt. And when I do hear y'all recording the podcast in the other room and I hear Cory say, Holli, I hope you're not listening. I'm like, oh gosh, what does he want to buy now?
I still see. Okay, so Emily is tech savvy enough. Like you've seen the memes on Facebook where a guy's holding up a turbo and says, honey, we really needed this new alternator for our car, right? And it's a turbo. She's much too technically savvy to get anything like that by. So I haven't figured out a way to sneak a turbo into the hood anywhere.
I don't think your engine could handle it.
Probably not. No,
it would end very poorly.
Yeah,
But
they do make a supercharger for the Pilot though.
Yeah.
So. Poor transmission wouldn't last a week.
No, that would be an interesting rig at that point.
It would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'm convinced that the Pilot would make an awesome autocross rig.
Yeah.
Like the tires are on the corners all the way around. It's super stout on the suspension layout. I think it would do great. Torquey V6.
I mean, just keep the podcast in mind when it's time to replace it, and we'll discuss things.
We'll lower it and autocross it. I'm down. I'm totally good for that.
So,
and now that's how he's spinning things. We need this
for the
podcast.
Oh, sure, yeah.
We've got to have this for the podcast.
Right.
So,
it'd make great content.
Oh, it'd make incredible content.
But
it wouldn't matter what it is.
That is the other thing, though, that has been good about the podcast is I don't have to listen to all the gearhead talk.
Yeah.
You get it all now, Matt.
Yeah, you get it all. He starts talking about car stuff, and I'm like, babe, save it for the podcast. Don't waste all the good material on me.
Yes.
Right.
Save it for the listeners.
That's exactly
and the
it.
Patreon members.
Please don't waste it on me.
Please don't waste it on me.
I will say, though, we're still keeping it a secret because it may not happen for multiple reasons. But I've used that logic on you, and it's worked to some success for my next vehicle.
One of the thousands of things he's shot at me, I
Right.
said, maybe that sounds like a good idea.
So you're
Maybe.
telling me there's a chance.
See?
I cling to what I can.
Absolutely.
I knew if I just vomited everything I wanted to do, you would pick up one thing.
It's the shotgun approach.
Right.
Or cast a wide net, and
Exactly.
you'll eventually catch something. So,
It may be the boot at the bottom of the wall. But something.
Yes. Something to take home and be proud of. Dang it. But, yes. So, still working through lots of logistics, but we will keep you, our listeners and our viewers and our Patreon members, in the loop as to our car adventures in the Fornique family.
Yes. Yes, we will. how little or big they may be.
Whether you want us to or not,
Whether
right?
you want us to or not. It'll be the Jeep Cherokee and the Cruise for the next 10 years.
Well, they are almost both paid off, so it would be nice. No,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. That's gonna be really nice. I look forward to that day.
Right. Well, and you just like practically rebuilt the whole engine on the Cruise anyway. So,
Yeah.
keep that one for a while longer.
So yeah, many have lamented you, Matt, that against American engineering, Chevys. So my little Chevy Cruze Eco with a 1.4 liter turbo 4 had I can't even remember. I've slept so much since then. It had a leak, and they
had like 4 or 5.
one massive leak,
Right.
and to fix it, they ended up having to drop the engine and transmission out of the thing and basically take the whole thing apart. Which is when they discovered it. I didn't need, but while they had it apart and we're going to be ordering new bushings and rings and all that stuff, go ahead and replace the clutch. And I said yes. So, yeah, to your point, yes, I've I've had a lot of that little Cruise rebuild. But that is the only major issue I've had with it, and it's closing in on 80,000 miles.
Nice.
I've had friends with others that say that they hate them, and I was like, I love my little car. It's fun to drive. When the turbo kicks in, it's fun to drive.
Right.
And being a 6-speed
anything
manual,
over 4,000
Right,
RPM
right,
is great.
right,
It's
right.
awesome.
And, it's easy to throw around the corners. The steering is good. Most other car enthusiasts and YouTube channels that we watch praise General Motors on their steering. Nothing else but their steering. So it falls in line. So, yeah. It's been fun.
Yeah.
Of course.
Remember earlier when you gave credit to the ex-boyfriend for...
Yeah, I'm just striking out on this episode. Maybe I should wrap it up and go home before I'm sleeping on the couch tonight.
Well, okay, so here's some brownie points.
Hey.
Car related, dating a gearhead. Cory is the only guy I've ever dated who opens my car door every time.
No.
Every time.
I really need that button.
Oh, there I had it.
We got applause.
Hey.
There we go. All right.
All right, Matt. Speaking of wrapping it up, do you want to lead us into our last section?
I would love to. So, Holly, we've started this new thing when we have guests on the show called Random Misfire, and it's 8 questions because
Say it.
Because all vehicles should be 8 cylinders. Right, yeah. Sorry, Bogey. So Cory and I will kind of go back and forth with questions, and they're some of them are yes, no, some of them are either or, some of them are favorite this, favorite that, or whatever. Just some fun kind of banter questions that we'll throw at you here a little bit. So I'll kick us off with the most important question.
Oh, boy.
Oh,
Jeep or Bronco?
yes.
I'll take it. It's a win. I'll take it.
So, beef. So, a few months ago, I would have been Team Jeep all the way.
Okay.
Okay, but with the new Bronco coming out, oh my gosh, it's really nice.
Uh-huh.
And
It is
I will
really
concede
nice.
they've
And
got
I
a
do
lot
like
of really great features.
Yeah, I do like the nostalgia of it too. It's just fun. It's a fun car, and
It is.
that's what I like. I like the fun cars that stand out.
And it comes in
that
cool
go good.
colors, too.
Yeah,
It does come in
with cool
awesome colors.
You can always get me with cool colors.
Good answer. Good answer.
So I will concede this as the resident Team Jeep guy between Matt and myself, that I will concede that the fact that the doors and the windows on the doors are frameless and you can store them, at least in the 4-door model, in the back of the rig,
Yeah.
instead of having to buy something to put them up in your garage or do something with them on the trail, that is awesome. How many times owners are actually going to do that is yet to be seen, but it is awesome to have that as an option, and it would not surprise me if Jeep figures out a way to do that on the next generation. Right?
Oh, yeah. I
Half doors have always really been a thing, and that's essentially what it is, a half door with an internal window. So,
which makes the most sense on that rig anyway. I mean,
Right.
that's probably in the top 10 of the most aftermarket purchase things on a Jeep is
Half doors or two doors, just something to get that open air. Yeah. Oh, my turn. Yay. So she can see all the questions on my computer. I'm going to turn it just a little bit.
Yeah, okay.
You act like I've never listened to this show before.
They're not always the same questions.
Okay.
So this one's fun. Favorite road trip snack?
Oh, I think it's got to be what are the ones we're always arguing about? The combos.
Yes,
the
combos.
combos.
Right.
It's the white with the pizza one, not the pretzel pizza.
Oh no, it's
The
it's,
white.
It's the
white.
pretzel cheddar.
No,
It's always
no,
the pretzel
it's
cheddar.
Not,
Pretzel
it's
cheddar.
not.
Yeah,
It's not
see?
the
Pretzel
cheddar.
cheddar.
Or I like to get Funyuns too, but that's the only time I get combos or Funyuns or on a road trip.
Okay, as a youth pastor, I have been on many a long trip with many a road trip snack of many stinky teenagers back behind me. And
Oh, I'd much rather smell Funyuns than smell teens. Just saying.
Funyuns and beef jerky are
Oh, yeah.
sometimes banned from the vehicles
Well,
because
the
of,
problem, Matt, is that it's not one or the other. It's all of
All
them.
of
it.
Stinky teenager.
Fair enough.
the threshold has been met
can't-
by the teens themselves. So,
And you can't kick them
Oh,
out.
see, you just initiate the rule that says if I smell it, I get some. No,
no.
no. If I can smell the beef jerky, I don't mind
Beef
Funyuns.
jerky,
Right,
Yeah,
yeah,
but
no.
Funyuns are
Okay.
hit and miss for me.
Okay, if I can smell whatever the treat is, then I have the
You have to
option to get some. Yeah, it's, you have to share. There you go.
Sure.
Yeah.
Bring some for the whole class.
That's
That's
right.
always the rule.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Okay, favorite driving song.
Yes. I guess that's a tough one. I should have thought about that one. Can I do genre?
Yes.
Absolutely.
90s, always.
Okay.
I got to always, I love a lot of different music.
Right.
But if I'm driving, singing at the top of my lungs, it's 90s.
Awesome.
I would have thought it was a certain Wilson Phillips song if I had
Oh,
to.
I do like that one. I do like.
Was it Hold
I
On?
like- yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Or Release Me. I like both of those.
Yeah.
Hold On and Release Me. Depending on what mood I'm
Or,
in.
you know.
Very interesting combination of songs there. But yes, so I
No, but I would say, like, even beyond that, probably Living on a Prayer.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, yeah.
probably, that's always going to be on the 90s list.
Yeah.
And
So,
Wilson Phillips.
both these questions were road trip related. Episodes 19 and 20, for those keeping track at home, we dive into our personal favorite road trip snacks and songs. And
I do want to vindicate myself on that episode
Oh man,
because
it's Corey's fault.
Cory and Matt went through their road trip list. Cory's entire road trip list.
not entire. I had
The majority of stop. I'm on this show. I have the floor.
okay.
I'll mute his mic if you want me to.
Yes. His entire road trip list was created by me on a road trip, but he only blamed me for the goofy songs like the Spice Girls.
Oh, no.
But the cool songs like Bon Jovi
Right.
and Fat Bottom Girls and he took credit for those. I'm like, I picked the cool songs too.
Oh, absolutely. No,
I picked them both. It was my list. So if you go back and listen to that episode, just know.
Episodes 18
So it's-
or 19 and 20.
Yeah.
Episodes
Yeah.
19 and 20.
So it's Matt and Holly's road trip
Sure,
song list.
yes, yes.
It's okay. All right.
Yes.
All right.
Well, if you're in the passenger seat, you're the DJ.
Oh, absolutely.
So
yeah.
it was my list.
Absolutely.
I just wanted. I was so mad when I listened to that one because I'm like, he didn't give me credit for any of the cool songs. He took all the credit for the cool songs.
Oh, it's Corey's fault.
It's Cory's fault.
You need to order that shirt. The It's Corey's Fault t-shirt is available on our website, gtgarageshop.com. Just click on shop, and there it is. It's the cheapest shirt we actually sell, so
Yeah.
there should be tons of them out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Join the bandwagon. All right. So this one is near and dear to my heart, Holly, because of my story. Do you name your cars?
I say I do, but Cory says I don't.
Okay.
Please elaborate for those at home.
So Cory believes that, one, your car name should be a name, like an actual name.
Okay.
I stand by that.
And two, that they should all be female.
I've come around on that. Thank you, Bogey.
I disagree on
Okay.
both counts.
Okay.
And these are the names of my cars so far. Well, the Mazda was just called the Mazda.
Okay.
The Tiburon, obviously, it's the Shark.
Tiburon means shark for those unawares.
Yes.
So
I was
So-
unaware.
there you go.
So it was the
You
Shark.
learn something every day.
That's right.
And the Mini Cooper was the Skittle.
The Skittle.
And the Jeep has yet to be named because we bought it when we were married, and we have a disagreement on how to name cars.
Okay. So what if it were your choice to make, what would you name the car? The Cherokee.
Oh, I don't know, but not what he wants to name it.
Well, okay. So
What do you-
Cory,
what do you
want to
wanna-
name the Cherokee?
Oh,
And we'll tell you why you're wrong.
I really think the Trailhawk, if it's going to have to be a real name, needs to be a male name. It's a Trailhawk.
Yep.
It's tough.
It
It
is
can
tough,
go off-road. It's
Right.
not a Skittle.
Yeah.
Are you
fair
saying
enough.
women can't be tough and go off road and do those
Okay.
things? I'm just saying. Just saying.
No, that's true. I'm not saying that.
Okay. Just making sure.
But some of your, I mean, if we're getting into it, I mean, we'll just share it all with the listeners. Some of your names are floozy names.
Whoa.
My gosh, for the Jeep? I don't even remember all the names I've come up with for the Jeep because none of them have stuck.
No, well,
Right.
none of the female names you have come up with are like Rosie the Riveter. Hey, maybe that's the name.
Oh.
Rosie the
Call
Riveter.
her Rosie,
We
yeah.
live in Tyler. Rosie.
Right.
That's a strong name.
You heard it here first. Brush talk. So, yes. Yes and no, she names her cars.
Yes and yes and no and no and yes and yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. More tech or less tech?
I have very strong opinions on no tech.
Let me no tech.
No tech. No
Wow.
tech. No.
And she lives
I-
with me, and we have to go car shopping together.
No. Yes, he's techie even beyond just cars.
Right.
I mean, there was a point where when we got married and started living together, I told him I have to be able to turn on a light in my house without knowing where my phone is.
Yes.
Siri does control most of the lights in our house, but there are light switches, yes.
Yeah.
Now there are light switches because I had to. And, you know, the tech thing really started back with the Mini Cooper
Okay.
because I'm like, my Mini Cooper is making this racket noise. And they don't go look under the hood. They're like, I need your key to put into the computer to see what's wrong, and it's going
Right.
to cost you $1,000 to do that.
Yeah.
You know, I can't just pull up to a Pet Boys and be like, what's wrong with my Mini Cooper? Look under the hood.
Yeah.
And that's so frustrating.
So-
What happened to those days?
Right.
And I'm like, just look under the hood and listen. They're like, oh, well, the computer says it's fine. Well, it's not fine because it's making a racket.
It shouldn't make this noise.
Go turn it on and hear the noise for yourself with your ears.
It wasn't making this noise when I bought it. It's making it now.
Fix it.
Something has changed. Make it go away.
Fix it.
Yeah.
Fix it.
To her credit, that was probably perhaps one of the worst technology experiences I've had with vehicles as well. And it's why I believe we've come to a mutual agreement that if we buy a vehicle, the dealer, it can be serviced by any place here in Tyler, Texas. And the problem with the Mini Cooper was even the BMW dealership, BMW owns Mini, for those of you unaware, even the BMW dealership would turn us away and say, no, our computers cannot talk to the Mini. There were 2 independent places here in town that we had to take it to, and they were closed on Saturdays, and it was very inconvenient. So yes, she got the wrong end of the technology stick with the Mini Cooper.
Fair enough.
But now she's getting the
But
good side of this.
Nothing about it. Like, I got the cheapest Mini Cooper you can get. So, well, I did
Almost.
have automatic windows. But other than that, it's like nothing else was tech about my Mini Cooper. Like, literally nothing.
Right.
But I have to have a computer to fix it. Oh, it's so frustrating.
Yep.
So
But
frustrating.
but the Jeep now has tons of tech in it. let's see. You don't use the self-park feature, which I don't really either
No,
anymore. That's more of a party trick than it is anything else. And she's permanently turned off.
Yeah, not that, but I don't even like using the backup camera to back up. I'll use it to like make sure no one's behind me. But I got to use my mirrors, roll down the window, stick my head out.
I agree with that.
I trust my eyeballs more than a computer. But the thing I really hate.
It is permanently disabled.
It is permanently disabled, and Cory better never turn it on. Is what is it called? The
automatic
braking.
Yeah,
the automatic braking system.
Basically.
Crash prevention. I'm doing the quote fingers again. And this is why, because again, my eyeballs and my brain are better than a computer on a car. And so Cory had turned this on again after I turned it off. Driving on the loop in Tyler, you know how busy and crazy the loop is.
Oh, yeah.
And I see a car in front of me that I know by the time I get there, it's going to be turned, it's going to be out of the way. Well, here the car is slamming on the brakes. I'm like, I'm going to get rear-ended.
Yep.
That almost made me have a wreck.
Yep.
And that's when I came home and I was like, you better never turn this on again because I'm not going to get in a wreck on loop 323 because my car decided I needed to brake.
Yep.
So they are still perfecting the technology, and it is getting better.
You can attempt to justify it all you want to.
Are you a tech guy, Matt?
No,
he's very anti-tech.
Okay, I figured that was probably
Soul is best.
Yeah.
I got really excited one day because she was very interested in the Tesla Model 3 when it first came out, and she's like, you know what? I think I'm coming around on a Tesla Model 3. And I'm like, really? Like I jumped all over it until she found out that the key is essentially your phone or this little credit card thing, and it was done.
Yep.
Yeah, again, I need to be able to drive my car without knowing where my phone is.
What happens when your phone goes dead?
Yeah, what happens? Then you can't start your car.
You have the little credit card.
Nope.
I'm sure the Tesla faithful will correct us. There are fail-safes put in place. But not being a Tesla owner myself, I do not know what they are.
Okay, but there's nothing more fail-safe than a 12-valve Cummins, okay? Where there's one wire, and the only reason that one wire is there is to turn the engine off.
Yeah.
Everything else will run on its own. As long as you keep feeding it fuel, it will run forever.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what you need, Holly. You need a 12-valve Cummins.
I need just a simple car.
Right.
The key unlocks it and starts it.
See?
Well, hey.
I brake it. I drive it. No, I mean like brake, not brake it.
I'm scheming now. What can I get away with?
I mean, I don't need a fixer-upper or anything, but gosh, stop doing all this tech in the new cars.
You could come and swap an Excursion.
Okay.
Just saying.
No.
It's a great idea.
Just no. All right. My turn? Is it my turn? I think it's my
your
turn.
turn.
So, favorite car movie?
Ooh, favorite car movie. I bet you're going to expect me to say The Italian Job with the Mini Cooper.
No, but I would agree with that answer.
You know, I will say, even though I've seen it 10 billion times, Cars 3.
Yep, that is true.
Cars
10 billion
3.
times is an accurate
10
count.
billion times. We have a 2-year-old, and he loves all the cars, and I always try to steer him towards Cars 3.
Nice.
I really like it. There's I was in a Bible study a couple months ago, and I was telling Cory that, you know, you've seen a lot of Cars 3 when you feel the Lord speaking to you.
Oh, yeah.
You can find the Lord speaking right to you in some of the dialogue in Cars 3.
That's fantastic. Fantastic.
All right, one more for each of us, Matt.
All right. So there's a couple here that I want to ask just because I'm curious. And I think I know which one you're going to ask next. So
But do you?
I will probably not. 2 wheels or 4 wheels?
You mean like a motorcycle or
Yeah.
not a motorcycle? Are you kidding me?
Why not?
No. I need to be more protected than that.
Wind in your hair, bugs in your teeth, all the
You're not
great-
selling it.
No. I've seen the way people drive. Nope.
Right.
No. I mean, I may get on one like out in the country for a try.
Yeah.
Just to say I've done it. That's something I haven't done. That is on my bucket list. But no.
Same here. But
Not one forever. Maybe a scooter. I thought a scooter would be fun.
like a Vesper?
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. The European side coming out. And
We'll
a little.
put around.
Yeah.
I've got a coworker in my other job, my day job, that drives one. I might hit him up and be like, hey, can I borrow?
There you go.
Make a dream come
Now
true.
you want a scooter too?
No. No.
What?
No.
But I work downtown, and we live
Yeah.
inside the loop, so it's just like a little short,
Take back roads and be right there. And
Be right there. That
it's a
maybe,
great idea.
Maybe. I've seen the way people drive.
I don't think I'm about to ask the one that you think I'm about to ask.
Probably
Matt.
not.
So, favorite car? I know the answer. I think I know the answer, but favorite car.
Jaguar.
So,
That was
Jag-
kind of left field. I was expecting the Mini.
no.
Oh,
It's Jaguar
Okay.
F-Type for,
Okay.
to elaborate a little bit further.
Nice.
Matt, my very first car that I could buy was not a Jaguar.
Fair enough.
The Mini Cooper, it was my dream to buy a Mini Cooper.
Yeah.
It was the realistic goal.
Okay. All right.
But if you're talking about any car I could have, it'd be a Jaguar.
So,
Nice.
Jaguar F-Type coupe. Not the Roadster, definitely the coupe, right? Right?
Sure.
Yep.
Yes.
So that also the hardtop, not the convertible. You've
Yeah.
poo-pooed
I
the
mean,
con-
I just don't know what they're
Right,
called,
right,
but
right.
I know
Yeah,
you know what I like.
I just want to make sure we're on the same brain page here.
Yeah.
But I agree with her. That is an absolutely stunning vehicle,
It
and
is-
for
it is really pretty.
either
I would
2020
be
or
afraid
2021.
of my Jaguar on the front getting stolen.
Oh well, lucky for you, that one doesn't have the leaping Jaguar hood ornament. It's just got.
Then I don't want that one.
Oh,
Oh.
well, that's
I need the
sad day.
Jaguar
Gotta
on the
have
front.
the-
I mean,
Gotta
I'm
have
sure we could affix one for
They
you.
could,
Yeah,
they
if
could do like the Rolls Royce, where if you hit it, it
The spirit
drops
of
down
ecstasy.
in the,
Yeah.
Yes.
That'd be awesome.
But I'm sorry there. Ding. But yes, it is a gorgeous vehicle, and for I believe it's the 2021 model year, they've restyled them, freshened the design, and I think they look even more gorgeous than they did before. But kind of the similar problem we had with Mini Cooper, besides the fact that it's an expensive vehicle, we don't have a Jaguar dealership here in town, and I mean, places could work on it. I'm sure it's not as finicky to talk to as the Mini Cooper was, but yes, it violates a soft rule in our household.
Fair enough.
But that's not the reason we're not getting it.
Right. It couldn't possibly be the $103,000.
Oh, pocket change. Pocket change.
Meh.
Well, then we need to have a conversation after this episode.
Holly, honestly, can't thank you enough for coming on the show. It was really fun.
It was fun.
I hope you enjoyed coming on the show and vindicating yourself from
Yes.
some of the things that I have shared about our life together on the show. But why don't you just remind our listeners where they can find you and your podcast for their listening pleasure?
Sure. Well, you can find me on Instagram, Holly Fornicate. We'll link it in the show notes. But also, you can find our podcast, which is East Texas Life Podcast. We are creating a community of women here in East Texas, and we talk about business, life, and some of the struggles that women go through, and how we can support each other on that. And you can find that podcast, etxpodcast.com.
Awesome.
Again, we thank Holly for joining us on our show this week. You can find out more about her and what she's doing on those links, and we'll put it in the show notes. But you can find out more about Garage Talk and what we're into, including our very first car show that I referenced earlier, by finding us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We're all at GT Garage Talk, or you can go to our website, gtgaragetalk.com, and find everything you need to know about us there, as well as latest car news, rumors, and things of that nature. But until next time, bye.